So this is a show about how to curate your child's education to meet their individual needs, and no conversation about education would be complete without talking about social emotional learning. Social and emotional education is just as important as academics like math and reading, and related to them for that matter. So I am just so honored to have Dr. Neufeld here. I can't even quite believe you're on my show. So Dr. Neufeld has 40 years of experience as a clinical psychologist with children and youth. He is a foremost authority on child development, international speaker, best-selling author of this book, Hold On to Your Kids, and a leading interpreter of the developmental paradigm. And I'm just so happy to have you here. And this concept of the emergence of a peer culture, I think, is so important for any parent who cares about helping to develop healthy social skills in their children. In your book, you talk about the emergence of a peer culture and that young people are increasingly looking to their peers as opposed to their parents for direction. And this has really only emerged in the last 50 years or so after the Second World War. Could you kind of explain to us, why this started, what provoked this change in the development of this peer orientation?
It's difficult to trace something down. There probably were a number of factors involved. Academics, first of all, pointed the finger at the Second World War and absentee fathers. It was probably a number of things that happened. The school system strengthened tremendously in the United States specifically, but then all the way around, it began to be seen as the way of getting ahead and pushing this. Education was taken away from parents instead of parents being in the driver's seat. There was this huge ideal that peers were necessary for children's development, socialization, and so on. So, and both parents now had to work because of economic issues. This didn't happen immediately, but there was two things. In North America, as Neil Postman put it, the nuclear family was small. It was only mom and dad and the children. This was different than everywhere else, except in the UK and in Australia. In other places, the extended family was key. Now, a combination of the nuclear family, like many people simplistically said, it's because moms went to work. It's not moms went to work. In Italy, most moms work, but who takes care of the kids? It's the grandparents, it's the extended family. And that wasn't happening in North America as grandparents were working. This was the industrial age really kicked in and so on. And so a combination of the loss of the extended family, the loss of the attachment village, a loss of a culture to support it, the school became preeminent as a way of being able to get ahead, open doors, be able to do this. And a myth grew up about the importance of peers in children's development. And that myth, which was perpetuated by some of the main educating scholars, took such hold that it seemed to be, everybody seemed to say it, but children need to have peer interaction to develop normally. Otherwise, they'll turn out a bit weird or geeks. And then they would point to a home educated child down the street or down the block as just,
right.
They didn't want their kids to turn out weird like this.
Sure.
And without realizing what was happening is children need to be brought up in the context of families. This has been the most harmful myth, the myth of socialization by peers.
Yeah, for sure. And so how do children develop social skills? Because it seems like parents think children develop social skills by putting them in a group of other kids their same age. And that's how they learn how to relate. Is that how children develop social skills?